All right. Hello, everybody. Oh, let me adjust my light. We are into week two. Oop, there goes my headpiece. There we go. We are into week two. And so we are on question 8 today. And we are covering the 20 questions to reinvent my life. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pop this here. If you don't have the free workbook, you can grab it right here. Just QR code, scan that. We'll send you an email with the workbook. It'll have all the questions for you to dive deep into. I'll go ahead and I'll put that up here in the corner so you'll be able to access the entire time. If you're here live, comment, say hi, let me know where you're coming in from. And if this is the first time you're joining me, let me know if you've done any of the questions or you've been following this series. Have you had any aha moments? Have you had any wow, that question really did get me thinking? Because tonight we're going to be talking about developing new skills. So, one of the things when we're talking about reinventing ourselves is becoming the best version of ourselves, right? And so, one of the things that we talked about yesterday was what skills and talents do I currently possess that I could leverage in my reinvention of my life. Like we talked about how to find out what your top strengths are. We talked about how to figure out what your skill sets are. So today we're going to take this a little bit further on, are there skills that you need to acquire? So, are there new skills that you want to acquire or need to acquire to support your transformation? So, when you start thinking about this best version of yourself, this version of yourself that's living the life that you know you're intended, that God intended for you to have, that you're like, this is my dream life. It feels like it's just there. I just can't get it. What are the skills that maybe you need to support that transformation? Now, this could be a huge question on a number of different levels because, and I'm realizing with my glasses on, that ring light is not great. There's a reason I don't wear my glasses when I'm on video, and I'm realizing, there you go. That's why. So I'll kind of try to keep my face down so you don't have that glare. If anybody knows of how you can wear glasses without getting that glare, can you please let me know in the comments? Because this is why I don't like to wear my glasses on camera. So if you know a way to make that not happen, comment, let me know. I need to know what that is. Okay. Because I don't like how that looks. Teresa, I'm so excited that you're here. Where are you coming in from? And all the videos are recapped. So you can either get them on the YouTube station. They're all there. They're all on LinkedIn and they're on my Facebook page. And if you grab the workbook, you're going to have all the questions. So each day we're just diving in a little bit deeper into each question. So this one I think is a little bit loaded because when you think about how you want to be transformed, there's like this wide range in my mind of what those skills might be. So, for example, one of the things this year that I am working on in my transformation, because one of my big goals this year is to really build the Hey Girl You Can membership, is to find women who really want to grow themselves, grow their business, do life together, be in community together, support each other, encourage each other, and by the end of the year, they're really transformed, right? That we've kind of grown together. And so part of that is for me to show up consistently. It's to be more consistent with my social media, posting regularly, showing up. I had shared with you in the first video, I don't usually do a lot of lives publicly. I usually do them in my private group because so I'm comfortable doing lives, but those are usually with people who I know want to be in my space. They've joined the group where this is kind of, I feel like throwing myself out to the sharks because anybody can be hopping on, right? So it's a step out of my comfort zone. Um, and so some of the skills that I need to develop is number one, a little bit of a thick skin, because when you just go live in the wild of the internet, you don't know who's going to show up, right? So that is definitely a skill of and that consistency, a skill of being more purposeful, planning. Now I'm pretty good with my time management, but I've slipped a lot in the last year, getting back on track, rehoning those skills, utilizing the tools that I have in my toolkit, but I've slipped away from. I'll give you an example. One of those specifically is really getting consistent with my weekly plan sheet. If you are interested, I did a video on this planner, why I started using it and how I do my schedule, my plan sheet. I have the skill, I have the tool. I've slipped away from it. Don't many of us do that? So kind of going back and sharpening that tool and using that again. So I would say in my reinvention, one of the tools that I really need to utilize and acquire is the sharpening of my time management skills, my productivity, how I'm managing my time. I chose a different time schedule this year than I've ever done before, breaking my days up into different projects and really being committed to sticking to that, which again is something I haven't done before. So that it could be a very vague skill. Like maybe you need to build your time management skill. Maybe you need to work on working from a to-do list or a six most important links or a task list. Um, Maybe you have a skill that you want to learn how to network. And so you're like, I need to really practice my 1 minute intro. I need to learn how to pitch myself. I need to learn how to write a great email. So it could be a skill, like a soft skill like that, right? So Teresa, oh my gosh, you're in Illinois. We had snow here today. I'm in New Jersey and we had probably not as much snow as you. How much snow did you get? I had a friend, guys, I saw on their Facebook, their hot tub was like the snow was like almost up to the hot tub. Like they had to like dig a tunnel to get to the hot tub outside. We had a dusting. We had just enough that it feels pretty, but not enough where when in New Jersey it snows a lot, then it's like 2 days later it turns black and is gross and you wish the snow went away. We don't have enough snow for that. We have just enough to feel like wintry, Christmassy, pretty, but not terrible snow. Um, so I love this. Teresa's saying, I want to grow my affiliate business for for a new drink to the market. So you have a new affiliate business. She's promoting a new drink. Drop your link in here. Like maybe somebody here who will be listening or watching the replay will want to check it out. So go for it. Go share what you're doing. Um, and so it could be okay. So it could be, oh my gosh, 8.5 inches. Holy smokes! I'm a guys. You guys know if you hang out with me, what is my goal in life? To get to a margarita and a palm tree. That is my goal in life. I want to decorate my palm tree with Christmas lights. Somebody help me get to the palm tree. Um, so but it might be a more tangible skill. Like, let's say, for example, you want to start a new career, or this year you need to go back to school, or you need to learn something. Like, so for example, let's say you're like, I want to learn how to sell an online course. And so I really need to take a class on how to do that. Or I want to start a podcast and I'm going to need to really invest time in watching YouTube videos. I will tell you what I did is I used Buzzsprout. I looked at a couple different ones. I asked friends. Buzzsprout, when you sign up with them, they have a really great tutorial that they walk you through how to start up your podcast. There was a lot of support. That was one of the reasons why I chose that. Um, Maybe you need to learn marketing or you want to apply for a different position. And so maybe you need a certification. I did this during COVID. I had started wanting to get into the public speaking world. I had just done my TEDx. I was starting to apply to speak at medical conferences, started to speak at those conferences, started to speak at hospitals for parents who had children who were facing a life-changing medical diagnosis. And I realized that at a lot of the places I was speaking at, these people had lots of fancy letters after their last name. And I didn't have any fancy letters. I mean, I have a college degree, but it wasn't in what I was talking about. So I actually went during COVID and I thought, well, I'm home and I'm not doing anything. I might as well use this time to get some fancy letters. And I didn't go back to get like letters from school, but I went and I did a ton of certifications. You know, I got life coaching, confidence coaching, REBT certified. I went and got an intensive program on counseling practitioner so that I could put those on my resume for a little extra clout, right? To kind of say like, hey, I actually do know what I'm talking about. And I could put those certificates on my, certifications on my website and stuff like that. And here's what's great. We live in the best time ever. If you have a skill that you need that's going to support you in your business. So, for example, Teresa's saying, I want to grow my affiliate business for her new drink to the market. There is no better time to learn these skills with a wealth of information to us. Okay. So, the first thing I would say is, okay, what is the skill that you're going to need to do that? So, is it that you need to learn? She wants to grow her affiliate business. Do you want to do that through social media? She says, yeah. Yes, I want to do that through social media. Okay, so do you need to learn which platform is best for you to be on? Do you need to learn how to create content? Do you need to learn how to schedule content? Do you need to learn? This is where you can use ChatGPT to really help with that and ask it questions and help it lead you in the right direction. I would even go, and I use ChatGPT a lot to brainstorm. So I'll go in and I'll say, okay, so for example, if I'd say, okay, I want to build my affiliate business for this new drink market. Here's what the drink is. Here's my ideal client. This is who I'm trying to market to. Here's what I'm trying to reach. Maybe this is what I've done so far that hasn't worked, or this is what I've been thinking about doing. If you were to create a marketing strategy for me, for my ideal client with no budget, or this is the budget that I have, and this is how much time I have. And these are the skills that I have already. These are the ones that I don't really know how to do. Can you help brainstorm with me the best way to approach this? And let ChatGPT say, here's how I would approach this. Here are the skills that you might want to develop. And you can say, where would be the best place to get those skills? What skills do you think I need? You can ask it, what questions do you need to ask me to help create a really kick ass marketing strategy? Like, work with it, ask it questions. I think a lot of people just come up and they use ChatGPT as like a prompt, like, hey, create a social media post for me. I use it to brainstorm. I'm like, hey, let's bounce ideas off of each other. Help me create create an idea. Help me, let's work through my sales page. Let's help work through my emails. What can I do? How can I tweak this? So utilize it. We have access to ChatGPT for free, right? It's amazing. There's so many places too. Like, I went to UMD. It's like a UMDEY. There's Coursera. Obviously, there's Teachable, but there's a ton of places that you can get it very inexpensive training. And literally, YouTube can teach you anything. My brother just bought a house. Now, I will tell you, I have two brothers. We grew up with a father who, my dad was an attorney. He was not handy. I never saw my father fix anything around the house. He worked all the time. So when something broke, he just paid somebody to fix it. Well, my one brother buys a house that needs massive renovation. They buy this house, they want to knock down walls, they want to put in new insulation. He's like redoing this house. And I'm saying to him, how do you know how to do this? Like, we grew up in the same house. I don't even know how to sew a button or replace anything. Like, how do you know how to do this? This is a few years ago. And he's like, I YouTubed it. And I thought, well, he's an engineer, so he must be extra smart, right? So he YouTubed it, but he must have some extra like gifting as an engineer. So my other brother just bought a house a few months ago, and it needs all of this renovation. And so we're talking over the weekend, and he's like, oh, yeah, I had to pull out all the insulation and I'm putting new insulation in. And I'm like, again, how do you even know how to do this? Like, how do I even know what insulation is? How would I even find the insulation? He's like, oh, I YouTubed it. I watched a couple of videos. I, searched around what I was looking for, the best ways to do this. And now he is not an engineer. This is the power of the time that we live in 2025, where you can get access to any information that you need. So I want you to sit down and write down, what are the skills that you feel that you need in this year of transformation? When you think about who you want to be this time next year, when you think about what you want to be doing, where you want to be investing your time, we talked earlier last week about our goals, our values, our core values, like who we are, what we want to create. What do you think needs to change? What skills are you going to need? So, for example, if one of the things you thought of in your transformation is, I want to be the healthiest, best version of myself, but you really don't know much about nutrition, and you really don't know much about, healthy food choices. Maybe you grew up in a family where people didn't really ever talk about nutrition and talk about healthy food choices. Then you may need to invest in learning the skills of how to, cook more so that you're not buying out so much. You might need to know how to, like, how do I do clean eating? What is that? What do I need to be avoiding in my food? Maybe you need to start looking at things like, what are macros, and is that important for me to be tracking? Maybe pick out 2 or 3. Everybody, there's a guru for everything, right? Some people are like high protein, keto, plant-based, carnivore. I mean, there's something for everybody, right? Weight Watchers. Maybe pick a plan and say, okay, I need to learn how to do this, so that you invest in, maybe you work with a health coach. You might be surprised. Your insurance may even cover, my insurance actually even covered free health coaching sessions for me. So you might have access to a health coach, and that might be a new skill that you need to learn, in how to cook different or eat different. Or maybe you want to join a gym, and you're going to need to, work with a trainer a little bit to learn how to use that equipment that you've never used. This is a great time to do that. You can literally, though, YouTube all of that. All of that. You can even ask ChatGPT to create a meal plan for you, or create an exercise program for you. Tell it what you want, and it will create it for you. Let's say you're like, okay, I really want to, we're going to go back to what Teresa's saying with her affiliate business. I really want to do marketing. Maybe you go and this is, guys, where I love bundles. If you are on my email list, I'm always sharing great bundles. I am crazy about bundles. And I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I hate bundles, blah, blah, blah. Who are you people, and why do you hate them? This is what a bundle is. A bundle is when you get a bunch of business owners who come together. They offer something that they normally sell for free. into this bundle. So let's say there's 25 people, and it might be health coaches, it might be business coaches, it might be people who teach mindset, or people who teach marketing, or people who teach social media. So usually the bundles have a theme. So let's say it's a marketing bundle, and these are going to be all people who teach marketing. And they're going to take a product, it could be a digital product, a course, a class that they normally charge for, and they're going to donate it into that bundle. Now, there's tons of free bundles. Most of them have an upgrade. So it's like, okay, you get access to, let's say, $5,000 worth of classes. And if you pay 40 bucks or 50 bucks, you're going to get $10,000 worth of classes. There's usually some kind of upgrade associated with it. But there's tons that are free. And so you say, I want to join the bundle, and you'll get a list of maybe these 50 products that you can choose from. All of them are free, and you can subscribe to the ones you want. Now, why does the person do this? Well, the reason that we do this, because I have donated tons of stuff into bundles, is because it is a way for me to get in front. Let's say there's 25 people marketing it. All of us are sending it out to our email list. All of us are posting it in our community. So we're basically cross promoting each other. And so I might have somebody in my community who signs up for, an offer that I don't teach. Right. And then this girl might have somebody in her community that signs up for my offer that she doesn't teach. So it's absolutely brilliant. But what I love as a consumer participating in a bundle is that it gives me a way to get access to all sorts of classes for free, where I can really learn and from people, and figure out, okay, this girl, I really like her. She knows her stuff. I'm getting a lot of value from her class. This is actionable stuff that I can really put into practice. I'm going to go see what else she has. This is definitely worth my dollar, right? Or this girl, wow, she promoted this as like a $300 product. I wouldn't even pay $10 for this. I'm not interested in the rest of her stuff. But a lot of what I have learned has come from taking these free classes through bundles and exposing me to the people who I said, yes, this is who I want to learn from, and here's who I don't. So if you're on my email list, I always send bundles out all the time because I participate in them, but I love to grab stuff from them. And so I think this is a great way to develop all those skills, particularly things like social media, marketing, templates, things like that. So I want you to write down, and again, if you're watching the replay, put it in the replay. Teresa, if you want to comment too, if you're still listening, what are the skills that you really need to develop? Okay. What are the ones that you're like, this is what I need to learn? Now, why am I asking you to put it in the comments? Because maybe somebody watching this is like, hey, I know where you can go to get that skill. I know where you can go to learn that. All right. Or maybe you teach what somebody else is looking for. Now, if you're in the Hey Girl You Can community, head over to our private Facebook group, put that in there, because that way we can kind of support each other and share maybe what we have or resources or things like that. I may have a resource that I can give you that'll support you in teaching you what it is that you're trying to learn. But we no longer have an excuse that we can't learn something, because now we can learn everything from our phone, from our laptop, and most of it is free. Now, the benefit of paying for a course is that it's usually like it's a time issue rather than having to dig through all these videos or dig through where to find it. You can usually get all the information in a short period of time, which is why courses are really great. But if you take the time, you can certainly find it. There's going to be a blog somewhere, there's going to be a video somewhere. Somebody is teaching what you want to learn. Okay. And if you're not sure where to go and like take classes, like again, Teachable is great. I did a lot with UMD. They had it. I want to say that's what it is. I'll double check the spelling of that. But I took a lot of classes on there. That's where I got a lot of my certifications. They were really, really good. There was I think it's UMD. Let's see. I might have to go back and check that for you guys. Where I got them. And then I found a teacher who was really great, who taught a lot of the courses that I was looking for. And yes, it's UDEMY, Courses on Demand. And then I was like, oh, this person is really great. Their certifications are legit. I'm learning a lot from them. So then I took a bunch of courses from them. And the other one, that Coursera, and there's other ones, if you guys know of, just drop them in the chat. Coursera is Coursera. They also have a bunch of courses. Because consistency and your calendar ideas. You know what I'll do, Teresa? I'll drop in the where are you watching on? Are you on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn? I will drop some videos. I have a bunch of videos, guys, on how to use your calendar and productivity. This was really tough for me because I started my first business when I was 20 years old, and I was going to school. I was working 2 other jobs. I started a business. I was performing. I was really maxed out on time, but actually time management at that time was really easy because it was only me. I was the only person I had to think about. Really, when I had to like own time management skills, crazy enough, was years and years later when I had my daughter, because then I had to pay for a babysitter. I was on somebody else's time and I had to maximize the time that I was using. And that was when I learned to start to time block. I didn't have the luxury of just doing things whenever I wanted to. And so time management, and I don't like to say time management, I think it's really priority management, really became vital. I also took a conference years ago. I remember I traveled to, and there were some really tough time management training exercises that we had to do. One of them was a top time audit. I actually just, okay, if you're on my Facebook, Teresa, I'll put it on my Facebook. It'll be easier for me to post in the comments there. So if you go to my Facebook, I'll post some videos there for you in this thread when we're done. I took this really great class, and now I've started teaching people how to do this because it was really life-changing, on how to time audit your time. And it was so hard. It was so hard. We had to track our time every 30 minutes for a week. And I was just talking about this on the Zoom that I was doing before. It was so eye-opening because it showed me where I actually was underestimating how long things took, and I wasn't calculating in things like stupid things. Like I wasn't calculating in how long it took me to drive places. And so I was wondering why I always felt rushed. Why did I always feel rushed? Because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to the grocery store for an hour. But really, the grocery store was a 25-minute drive there and a 25-minute drive back. And so that was really 2 hours. So it was very, very eye opening for me in learning my time management. And I would say consistency is key to everything. In the first business that I built, I've always had people say, oh my gosh, in that company, I know people, they never made any money, blah, 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 blah. I never had that. And I was not a superstar. I had no sales background. I'm not the best seller in the world. I have a lot of, I'm good at some things, but I'm not good at other things, right? But the one thing that really I was really good at is I was really consistent. And I just, my first year, it was just like I did one thing a week, one thing a week, one thing a week, one thing a week to grow my business. And so I was this little piddler, but little piddling has built me a business that has lasted it'll be 27 years next month. So it was, again, not huge. It was just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And what I have seen, and I've coached thousands of women who started businesses, and I've seen this over and over and over again, like almost 3 decades, right? People will come in and they go gung fire and they fizzle out just as fast as they started. I would so much rather work with somebody who's a little piddler, who's consistent, because that person is going to have longevity, than the firework who comes in, blows up. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, who's this hot shot? And they literally burn themselves out and they're out just as fast as they came in. So with consistency, I think it's also really learning to track. And so when we're talking about what skills you need, this might be a skill that you need this year. You need to learn how to track. And we can do a whole other training on this if somebody is interested in that. But learning how to track your results, because tracking is key. You want to make sure that you're putting time into stuff that's giving you results. And so I became a fanatical tracker because it was a way to make what seemed like a very unpredictable business very predictable. And I'll tell you, that's one of the things that I'm working on right now in my new business. And, I obviously still have my other one, but in building Hey Girl, You Can, because in my other business, I knew exactly, I had spent, so many years tracking that I knew exactly if I do A and B, I will get C. And I'm still trying to figure this out with building Hey Girl, You Can. I have no idea how to get to C. I'm not sure what A and B are yet and what's worth doing and what's not doing. And so part of what I'm in now is a little bit of this science experiment of saying, well, what is the best way for me to find people? What is the best way for me to connect with the person who's going to benefit from being part of our community? What is the best way to do that? And I'm learning a lot of new skills, right? I'm investing time. I've actually blocked out time in my calendar every week. I'm taking a course right now on how to build kind of a membership in differently than I've built before. I've built lots of communities, but this is a different way of building a membership. So I have time blocked out in my calendar to invest in learning that new skill. So there is never a time where we arrive. We are always growing. And I think that's great. Right. Because that means that there's still talent in you that God wants to use. But we have to put it in our calendar. We have to be purposeful. If I don't plan that, if I don't plan education time, the week will just get crazy and go by. And it will do the same for you. So if you're not planning when you're going to actually develop these skills, invest in these skills, find the places to have these skills, a year will go by and you still will not have the skills. Sorry, that's just how it works. So I would encourage you tonight, you're going to make your list. If you have the workbook, go write down in the workbook. Otherwise, just grab a piece of paper, make a list. These are the skills I really want to develop, and then choose one that you're going to start with, and then brainstorm, how am I going to find this one skill? How am I going to learn to do this one skill? And then make a plan. Do I need to take a course? Do I need to take a class? Maybe there's an adult learning community in your area or school. Like I used to teach how to network at an adult back, like it was a community school, and I taught a class to people on teaching them how to network, right? So there might be something in your area, a continuing education program. Where are you going to go and learn that skill, and then put it on your calendar and commit to learning that skill? And maybe you learn one skill every 3 to 4 to 6 months, but at the end of the year, you'll have 2 to 4 new skills in your tool belt. Okay. Definitely want to track my steps. All right. So, Teresa, I'm going to drop a bunch of videos for you, a bunch of stuff for you, a bunch of resources. Um, so you'll have access to that. Oh, I just pressed something on my computer. There we go. I'll drop a bunch of things on the if you're watching on YouTube and you're watching on LinkedIn, head over to Tara's Voice on Facebook. I will drop them in the Tara's Voice comments so that you can find those. Okay. So I'll drop you some good videos there, and then I'll be excited. Let me know which one is the most helpful for you after you watch them. Okay. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning. We will be back on day 9 of our 20 questions. Again, grab the free workbook. And then if you're in the Hey Girl You Can community, head over to the Facebook group, start telling us there what are the skills that you need to develop. If you're not part of the community, it's $8 a month. And we work together 4 times. We have actually coming up this Thursday, we have a co-working session together, because a lot of times it's just setting aside the time to get the stuff done that's on your to-do list, that's on your dream list, and to get that done. So we do a co-working every month. We do a Q&A every month. So you get a little bit more, one-on-one on the questions that you have. We do our virtual networking event, and then we do a grow session. We do a masterclass. It's a training, something that is designed to grow you, grow your business. We have our private Facebook group. You have a whole library of resources. So, for $8 a month, don't go to Starbucks one day, and give yourself a membership. And then the other thing that we have coming up is the Total Transformation Day. And this is really more for the person who wants to take a deep dive. If you're not sure if this is right for you, DM me. I'm happy to hop on a call with you, and we can talk about what you're looking for and if this is worth, you investing in. But it's basically what I used to do in a weekend. It's in one day, with the idea that most people don't have a weekend, and most people they don't want to do an 8-week or 10-week course. They want to get big results quickly. So we spend one day, we do a deep dive together. It's a very small group. I give you the best of everything that I've learned in 27 years in one day. Like, this is the stuff that's really driving change, because, you learn a lot of different things, but what are the things that really made a difference in my life, in my business? That were the best of the best. And you get a workbook. We work through the workbook, but it's very tailored towards your strengths, what you love to do, what brings you joy, and then crafting a plan so that you can have a different 2025. And that's the Total Transformation Day. So if you want more information on that, it's coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't do it all the time because it is a little bit more, it's an intensive day. So it's, we spend the day, we have lunch together, we get a lunch break, and then we dive right back in. But it's really for that person who's ready for a massive change quickly. Kind of think of it as, I describe it as a butterfly. You go into the cocoon as the little caterpillar, and then I want you to come out at the end of the day as the butterfly. Okay. Yeah, I like co-working too, because it's the accountability, right? It's the showing up and saying, I'm here and I'm going to get stuff done. Even just sitting on Zoom together, there's just an accountability. And I think that's the one thing with a lot of us working, remote and at home. And I remember when the pandemic hit, I thought, well, this will be interesting, because I always worked at home, and that's a learning curve, right? And when the pandemic hit and everybody went at home, I went, "Ooh, this will be fun to see how this works," because it's not something that there's a learning curve. You need to learn how to do that. So, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you tomorrow morning. We will hop back on. We will tackle the next question. Grab your notebook. Any questions, leave them in the chat. Would love to know who you are, where you're coming from, and how I can support you. I'm excited for this year to be your very best year. Have a great